2 minutes until 12, so I can say good morning. It's terrific to be back for day 2. We're going to dig into some wealth management now. I'm delighted to say that we've got Alfonso Castillo with us, who just arrived from a flight from Miami and has quite a bit of news to go through. But before we get into the details on your expansion plans, if you could broadly lay out for us the opportunity set as you see it for Banco Santander International.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much, Yousef. I'm delighted to be here in Dubai. It's a great place, and the country is doing a great job, I think. So for us, as you know, Santander is a big bank, headquartered in Spain, but we also have a lot of business and a lot of private banking units across Latin America. So we're used to deal with emerging markets. And most recently, we've detected an increasing interest of Latin American wealthy clients that are looking into the Middle East more and more. It's commercial connections and opportunities. And we decided that our natural expansion was to start looking into the region. And of course, Dubai was our first choice, and this is where we have started.
I mean, your wealth management is up 17% in Q1, almost €1 billion in revenue, 18% up year on year in private banking. So you've got a tailwind on a group level that's helping you break into some of these newer markets. Is there any way that you can compartmentalize your geographic footprint as it applies to international private banking, so that we can understand, where the Middle East is going to start fitting into, but also how you're currently placed?
Yeah, of course. So basically, we've got, in my opinion, a very good combination between local operations in the countries and international coverage as well. No? With the globalization, it makes sense more and more to have a proper and a very sophisticated international value proposition. So that's the way we've been doing it so far. So you see, we've got local presence in 15 countries. And on top of that, we've got BPI, which is in Spanish, Banca Privada Internacional, which where we cover and cater after high net worth and ultra high net worth individuals from all over the world. And that combination between local and international, it's crucial, and it's probably the backbone of that explains our growth during the past years.
And then when it comes to your office in Dubai, how many people are you going to be hiring, or how many people have you hired? And is that also going to serve as sort of a service point for the rest of the Gulf? What about Saudi Arabia? Just tie in some of the finer nuances of sort of planting the flag in DXB.
Okay, so the way we do things in general is we first test the waters, and once we are convinced that it's not burning, we go all in. So Dubai, for many reasons, and the IFC was the right choice to start in the region. We are hiring and we are onboarding top-notch bankers. Some of them, you find them today here with me. And we will see, but the idea is to go big in the region. But we will take the decisions as we move forward, and we see how the opportunities unfold.
So you haven't committed yet to a certain number of bankers?
No, we don't. We will see.
But you're keeping an open mind.
Exactly.
As the opportunity comes.
It's a good way to put it.
You've won quite a few awards in Latin America, including the Best International Private Bank, but you're coming to a space here in the DIFC where there's no shortage of private bank offerings. What is the point of distinction for your service proposition here? How are you going to be different to be able to really leave a mark in, it's quite a mature space right now in the DIFC and sort of some of the surrounding jurisdictions?
That's a really good question, because you are right. Competition is fierce, and you find many very high-skilled and bankers everywhere. Ours, though, I think that approach that I was mentioning, that combination between local and global and international, I think is quite unique. Because these days, at least from my point of view, clients and customers all around the world are demanding that you can help them with their companies, with their houses, with everything, and of course with wealth management as well. But the combination with the local value proposition and the international sophistication is a winner one. And not every player has the possibility to put both on the table. So we intend to continue with that approach, little by little first. But I think that's what explains that among the best performers in the region are already joining us, because they believe that this is a killer one.
Are you seeing any evidence that the capital flows between Latin America and Dubai have become more notable, and that's part of the reason why you're setting up here, is because you've got clients as well, existing clients, in your existing market in Latin America, in Miami, for example, who use Miami as a base, and they also want to be serviced and have something available on the ground in Dubai.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, let me tell you something. I've been the past week in Ecuador for business reasons, and I was in a meeting with the 30 most relevant entrepreneurs over there, and without letting them know that I was coming here to Dubai, one of the most recurrent topics for them was the links with the Middle East. So that's a reality. Middle East is looking more and more towards Latin America and the other way around as well. And we are very well positioned to tackle that highway that is being created.
What was more difficult, dealing with the DIFC or dealing with management internally when it came to setting up the office here in Dubai?
It's the answer to that always is management internally. It's the AFC, they are great, and I was telling you before, it's an example of efficiency, of purpose. They've been extremely helpful, and I wish everywhere around will find the same attitude and helpful approach.
Where else could you be looking to set up shop? I mean, you talked about sort of your position in Dubai. Have you already thought about where else you want to expand to when you look at the global map and when you're looking to elevate the Banco Santander brand in private banking?
We've got a clear idea that we want to be very relevant in the region. We are going to tackle all the main markets. We still have to figure out where are we opening up branches, and we are on it as we speak, okay? Probably, I don't want to commit to any specific one because we're still deciding it, as I just said, but we'll probably be in every single relevant market.
I mean, part of the way you support clients is helping them navigate a volatile macroeconomic and geopolitical environment, at least helping them with their portfolios. What, in your view, is the biggest risk to the outlook as we get to sort of the second half and towards the end of 2024 into 2025?
Well, there are some risks inherent to all emerging markets. Currency is a big one. But the answer to that and how you can help and provide added value to the clients is usually the same one, is diversification. So we try to get the right leverage on our capabilities all around the globe and get the best diversification that we can in terms of assets, in terms of currencies, and I think that's basically what we do.
Are you surprised that the US has so far been able to defy all the expectations of a recession?
I always say, let's see what comes next, no? But in every single environment, either it's a bull or a bear market, you find opportunities. For now, exactly, the market has avoided the recession, at least the financial markets. we will see what happens next with these interest rates. You never know what can happen. But
what's your gut feeling on this? I mean, a personal view, are you a believer that we're going to get a cut or two? Or you believe that it's going to shift again? And we're going to be in a position where, the Fed might not be able to cut rates at all, and that inflation is going to stick around elevated levels?
As you're saying, it's a very difficult one. My gut feeling changes every other day because
I'm the kind of person who likes to throw the dice once in a while, right? So you have to take one side of the bet. Which side is it going to be for you if you had to take one today? Knowing, of course, that as you go along through the year, the data might change your opinion and you move to the other side of the bet, but we still have to take a bet.
Being completely honest and candid, right now, today, I'm 50-50, so that's the reality because, no, seriously now, we're an election year, you never know, so inflation apparently is receding, but then you have the employment rates on the other hand, so we don't know yet what's going to happen. 1 month ago, the market was already foreseeing interest rate cuts. The other day, apparently, the Fed was not that clear anymore about that. So we don't know. The only thing that we know is that we will be prepared, and you've got to be alert now in this environment because it's.
We've talked a lot about innovation at the FinTech Summit, and I want to weave that into private banking as well, just in terms of sort of the bigger shifts that could take place or are already beginning to take place in certain parts of the world. Just run us through what your thinking is as of today.
Well, I think that's AI and some other innovations are going to disrupt many things. The other day, I was talking to my son, he's 16, and he doesn't know yet what he's going to study, where is he going to college, and he was asking my advice. And I told him, I was surprised myself, does it make sense anymore to study a technical career? Because knowledge is becoming more and more a commodity. So I think we're back somewhere where the soft skills, the empathy, how to deal with human beings matter a lot. And we are going to, in my view, shortly in the future, we're going to start looking for those capabilities everywhere for that kind of talent. And I think that's going to be a big change everywhere, and of course, in our industry as well. It's, other than that, it's obvious that it can and it will affect asset management, asset allocation. It's going to be much more information. As such, it's going to be more difficult to find gaps between price and value. That's why I also believe that the alternative investments and the private equity space is going to become more and more relevant because it's probably the part of the asset allocation where you still can find those gaps.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Would you say that you're ahead of the game in terms of adopting some of those new ideas? I mean, if you could just lay out maybe some examples of how you are beginning to integrate AI or maybe simplifying some of your product offering, because again, you've got some of the fintech competition that's coming in and they are looking to shake things up in the world of private banking, where people sometimes complain of high fees and below, or let's say lower than expected returns, right?
Yeah, I think we are, nobody knows what's going to happen. Everyone is on the same page trying to figure out what's next. Our strategy here is to, I'm reading a book that is very interesting now, that is all the letters that John D. Rockefeller sent to his son at the beginning of the 20th century. And one of them caught my eye, saying that just do things. Education covers many aspects, but doesn't teach you anything. And that's a quote. Well, for us, the way to be really updated and keeping with your feet on the ground is to partner up with fintechs, the ones we deem more that fit more with the private banking spectrum and the banking spectrum. So forcing us to have skin in the game and learn with the people that are actually doing the thing. So that's our strategy, and we'll see how it ends. But
do you have any specific targets in terms of where you want the private banking revenues to be at, let's say by the end of 24 and into 25? I appreciate you're a publicly listed company, and even though your earnings have been announced, you may not be able to tell us exactly what those numbers are, but as a veteran news anchor, I do have to kind of push you a little bit on that and see if we can...
Well, we've, as you know, and it's public information, we've been growing a lot for the past 2 years. I think it was kind of year over year, 40% and 75% in 2023. This year we're growing in private banking, I think it's north of 20%. The thing with our business, with private banking and wealth management business, is that is greatly affected by market volatility. So you never know what the market is going to do. If tomorrow we start facing a bear market and falling markets, probably everything I say is useless, no? Because it's you cannot foresee what's next there.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe that's an important point to kind of bring home for those investors who are anxious to put any additional cash to work or some of their capital to work because of the current headlines, because of the feeling that there might be an imminent recession or a downturn or a correction or whatever that may be. What is that message that you are telling them and sharing with them and trying to hone in on to make them confident enough to cross that line, to come in and to do what you think is the right thing to do, to pursue your guidance and trust you?
Let me rephrase a little your question. It's part of our job, I would say. The most important part of it is completely understand the mindset and the profile of the client. So, because they are already facing a lot of risks in their companies and in the real economy. So if a client, for whatever reason, wants to be conservative and wants to have deposits instead of going and invest in equities, we have to adapt to him. So we are here to serve the client and to fit, to do our best to fit their profiles, and we do that. We might give some advice given the circumstances. We see the market, I don't know, we're bullish, we believe in soft landing or recession or whatever it is, the scenario. But the main thing we can do is to adapt to their profiles, because everyone, or pretty much everyone, they have their own views on the economy and the market. So we serve them, we adapt to them, and we have to make sure that we have the best platforms and services available, but it's us who have to adapt to them, and not the other way around.
Well, best of luck with that journey over the next few months as you continue to beef up your presence and your reach in Dubai and in the broader Middle East. Thank you for flying in and sharing some of your insights on that front. And of course, a big thank you again to our wonderful audience, and much more coming up.
Okay, no, thank you. On the contrary, thank you.